So here we go. We learned yesterday that OJ Simpson died of cancer, and everyone still can't stop talking about it.
Yeah.
It was like a phenomenon when it happened, the trial of the century, the Bronco chase, and the not guilty verdict. All these things made people crazy. Why do you think Americans saw all this that happened? And you all know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Why do people see it through such different lenses, do you think? I mean, the guy had a bunch of stuff in his car, his passport. He looked like he was leaving to get away after he allegedly murdered these people, and yet he got away with it. So it's a divisive sort of trial, wasn't it?
You know, I think it was less about his guilt or innocence, and rather about the system and how the system treated African Americans and continues to treat African Americans in this in this country. You have to remember, and putting it into context, the acquittal.
But it was so racially charged because of what had happened just before with Rodney King, but also just how Black Americans feel about policing. It's not like OJ Simpson was the leader of the civil rights movement of his era. You know, he wasn't a social justice leader, but he represented something for the Black community in that moment, in that trial, particularly because there were two white people who had been killed, and the history around how Black people have been persecuted during slavery. There were just so many layers. And I guess I would just...
In the mood I was in, I started having words with him.
He says to you, I just came by to return a pair of glasses. Judy left them at the restaurant.
Yeah, words to that effect, yes.
And
he was I don't know if I believed it or didn't believe it. It was pretty much immaterial because, you know, I was more concerned about everything that was going on. You know, and was fed up with it, I guess. And
you get into a fight. Nicole comes out.
A verbal
fight.
Got a little loud, and by that time, Nicole had come out, and we started having words about who is this guy, why is he here, what's going on.
And she says, "This is my house. Get the F out of here."
Yes, and which I didn't like because, once again, this is the same person. And if you read the book, you'll see some things that happened in the 2 weeks leading up to this.
They're members of the jury that voted to acquit OJ because of Rodney King?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
How many of you felt that way?
Oh, probably 90% of us.
90%? Did you feel that way?
Yes.
That was payback.
Uh-huh.
You think that's right?
OJ Simpson. They run it. They run shit every 10 years to get your children and your grandchildren. So let's go back and look at OJ. He cannot read or write. So when the cop said he sent this message out to be read to his fans, now to show you how powerful he was as an athlete, his godfather was Willie Mays. So when he finished high school, Willie Mays took him and put him in a junior college when wasn't nobody looking. So 2 years later, they slipped him in USC. He go to a 4-year college and in 2 years break all the football records that it took them 4 years to do.
Of the officers who beat Rodney King almost to death in front of the world's eyes was in 1992. This happened in 1994. And I think for the Black community, it was less about whether or not OJ did it, because I think even today you'll go to, you know, barbershops and beauty salons and people will say he did it, but he got away with it. And the police officers, police officers have killed many more people than OJ Simpson.
Also, they probably, I think
looking at the women in the view came back and talk about OJ Simpson, what really happened in that trial. You know that in that trial they gave him that globe to put on. Normally the lawyer asked him that, have you ever tried that? Have you ever done this before? To Sony, who have been in a law school, she said that that's ABC. That's like when you begin law school, the ABC they taught you. Actually, when a lawyer asks you that, they knew you have committed a crime. Basically, why the OJ Simpson was able to get out of it. OJ Simpson was a big celebrity, a football player. OJ Simpson was very rich. OJ Simpson have a lot of authority. He has a lot of stuff. So he was able to be favored. There was racial, it was racial. And the wife was Caucasian, so he was black. So it has been known that black people, like look in 1994, and the other year they say King was being beaten in front of everybody. So it has been known that black people have been marginalized in the United States. They have always been the victim. They have always been the one that they'll be killed and nothing is being done about it. So when that thing happened to OJ, it was like no one can say anything. It's like a racial issue. So now they say even you go to Barbie salon and they are talking about it. Some black people will say the OJ Kia and so what? What about the millions of black people that Caucasian people have killed? Which is not really fair because Nicole Brown called the police 9 times. She was under domestic violence and she was bleeding. So actually, according to the Women in Review, the police system failed Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman, his friend, the friend. So they were being failed by the police system. No matter the millions of calls she made, she was being trials was against her. They even talk about when OJ Simpson was being called and that he was trying to run away with $9,000 and his passport. But that was not enough proof to them. They didn't still believe that. For whatever reason that OJ Simpson was being able to win that case, it's not yet being understood how he won. According to the people in the Women in View, which everyone is saying, because of racial barrier, because everyone knows the black people have gone through a lot. So this is OJ. OJ is big. What can be done? Nothing can be done. So OJ was able to pass this because of the penalty his forefathers have paid. So other people have shared their own blood. So OJ was being able to pass this by. So he free from that scenario because every other thing was pointing that he was guilty of that crime. But how come they could not take nothing could be taken? He could still be set free. How come? What happened? What happened? That's a scenario that everyone is asking. That OJ Simpson could have not been able to pass this by. He could have been able to put on that bars. But because as they said, in America, nobody is above the law. The Women in the View say that's a lie. Because even now, some celebrities are still above the law. They still pass that law. Does not pass them by. Actually, what do you think about this? Can I see your opinion about OJ Simpson? Thank you very much for watching. If you have not subscribed, please help and subscribe and share this video. God bless you.